Whether you're new to photography or you're a seasoned photographer, it's natural that there'll be moments where you're stuck in a creative rut and just lacking inspiration or motivation to get out there and take photos. So recently I've been experiencing that creative rut. I've had some fantastic trips hiking and camping in Tasmania and southwest Victoria, where I got the opportunity to see some amazing places. But ever since coming home, I've really struggled to find locations close to home that have been just as beautiful or inspiring. And it's taken me some time, but I've come to realize that to get myself out of this creative rut, the best thing to do was to go back to the core reasons of why I took up landscape photography in the first place. And once those reasons became clear to me, it just made it so much easier to pick up that camera and get out there and start taking and making great photos again. Well, the main reason why I got into landscape photography was it allows me to connect with nature. Right now, I'm surrounded by lush green ferns, trees, breathing in fresh air. I'm listening to the sounds of birds chirping and the waterfall flowing just down nearby. And it's beautiful. It's simple, yet beautiful. And whether it's here or by the beach or on the mountains or along the river, it's certainly very humbling and definitely makes me much more appreciative of my place in the world. It makes me more aware of the lives around me and does leave me in wonder and awe of Mother Nature and the importance of preserving it. Today I'm in the Yarra Ranges National Park, which is about an hour and a half northeast of Melbourne. I'm on my way to see a few waterfalls today, but I've come across this part of the rainforest and I thought it's worthwhile just to take a few quick photos. It's very cold this morning. We've got this soft morning light just falling through the canopy there and trying to break through the trees, and it's just lighting up this portion of the rainforest, as you can see behind me, where there are some ferns and this grand historic tree here. There's actually quite a few historic trees around this area, so I'll see if I can take a few photos of them. But the soft light is just falling through and it's casting this warm morning glow on the ferns, and I think it'll make some nice woodland shots. Might not be portfolio shots there, but the light is just golden and just so soft and too good to pass up. Not a lot of great compositions at where I am at this point in time, but I just want to see what I can catch with the light through the trees, and as it hits the face of the tree and the bark there. Let's see what comes out of this. So I've got my camera locked in there. I've got it at f8, which is pretty much the sharpest focal length, I think, on my 10 to 24mm lens there. My ISO I'm keeping very low at 160, and I've got my shutter speed on 30 there. Just mindful of not pushing it too high because I can clip it a little bit. I think that should be the right exposure there. I don't need to focus stack or anything because I don't have anything too close in my foreground. And as you can see, I've got my focus peak on, which is super handy on this Fuji X-T4. Just allows me to make sure that everything is in focus. And let's see, better put my timer on as well, just to minimize any movements and shakes and we don't get any blur. And let's see if I can find a few good compositions before we lose this light and it gets too harsh. So that's not too bad there. Now gone a little way further into the forest, and I've just looked back and I've spotted all these beautiful trees covered in lush green moss here, surrounded by them actually. But we've got the morning sun now. It's climbed a little bit higher up, but it's just cascading this soft diffused light through the trees, and it's hitting the ferns and the moss. And it's just looking really, really beautiful there. So I've got my camera set up to see if I can get some nice shots capturing that light. So I've got this set up now at f8. Because we are so far into the forest, it's really hard to tell on that camera, but it is quite dark in here. So I've had to bump up my ISO. I'm on ISO 800 now, and I've got my shutter speed on 15. That soft diffused light, that glow that's coming through is looking fantastic. So I'll see what shots I can get here. Coralline Falls, what a quaint little fall it is. Just beautiful. And I love these little waterfalls that aren't really popular with the mainstream tourists and you can find off the beaten track. You get your own little piece of the world. Times like these, I wish I was taller. Can't quite see it, so what I'll do is I'll see if I can send my drone up, take a few shots and some video footage as well. Second reason why landscape photography has been so good for me is that it has offered a means of escape from the monotony of daily life, escape from the daily grind and constant pressures of work, and it has allowed me to really just hit pause and slow down, just to get away from the constant go that we're often conditioned to accept as the norm. And it has been just really relaxing and therapeutic just to slow down and just stop and reflect and, you know, soak in the peace that often comes with being in the outdoors, being in nature, and, you know, being in the quiet of it all. I mean, if you listen, there's nothing. It's just utter silence around me. And that silence has been just so soothing and calming, and it slows your mind down and provides that balance that we all need, and I'm sure we all seek from time to time. I just do get that period of time where nothing else in the world matters. It's just me, it's just the fresh air, it's just the mountains, the beaches, the hills, the forest, the wildlife, and peace. Well, this Cumberland Trail that I'm on to try and get down to a waterfall is incredibly overgrown. But I love it because there's just a ruggedness to it, a wildness and an untouched sense that it hasn't been visited by too many tourists, and it's really Mother Nature and the natural world at its best. Preserved and kept pristine.
Unfortunately, as you can see, the lookout at Cumberland Falls was so overgrown that it was impossible to see anything. But the views from above were sensational. From the fallen trees and logs sprawled everywhere, it's clear that this place has been devastated by storms.
Well, I've been hiking in this rainforest for a while now and it's getting late, so I better be getting back. I was hoping to get some more photos of waterfalls today, but unfortunately that didn't really turn out as planned. Only one of the falls was really any decent to take a photo of, and the other one, the lookout, was completely overgrown and blocked, so I had no luck there. Anyhow, I was on my way back and I came across these two massive fallen trees, and they've been here for some time because they're completely covered in moss. A lot of the surrounding trees are also covered in moss, and as I haven't really had any luck with my photos today, I thought I might as well see what I can create from this. I might hop onto one of these fallen trees and try to take some sort of abstract shot down the tree towards that way, and maybe I'll pan around and see if I can create something from the scene around me as well. I mean, it's beautiful, but there's not much of a composition to work with. But that said, that takes me to my third main reason why I took up landscape photography and why I love it. And that's the ability to have this freedom of creative expression. It's an art form, and for the most part, there are no rules. Yes, there are certain principles around, you know, shutter speed, aperture, rule of thirds, leading lines, all of that, that we all should really follow if we want to elevate our photography game. But at the end of the day, they are just guidelines. And, you know, we are free to create a scene in our own vision, as and how we see it or how we remember it when we return from location and we're editing in post. And that's just liberating, being able to express yourself through photos and leave a scene and a memory, a lasting impression according to how you perceive the scene and how you perceive the world that day. So with all that said, I'm gonna go and see if I can create some of my own lasting impressions of this beautiful part of the rainforest. Well, there you have it, folks. That's all for today's video. Thank you so much for joining me as I find my mojo and remind myself of the core reasons why I love landscape photography and why it's good for me, and hopefully it's good for you as well. If you enjoyed today's content, please hit that like and also subscribe. For a new channel like mine, that would mean a great deal. My channel will be all about my photography adventures, so hopefully I can take you behind the scenes and also on my journey as I grow and develop as a photographer and share my learnings and experiences along the way. Stay tuned for my next video, which will be more of my photography adventures. So I'll catch you then. See ya.